To order, Mary, read the roll, please.
Present. Here.
Here. Garcia.
Here, please join me in the pledge of
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome those who are joining us here physically present and those who are joining us online. I'd like to move to item number C. I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I would like to add an executive session.
Okay, so we need an executive session. I'll need a motion to do that. So I have a second.
Non-elected personnel.
No, okay. So I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second. Okay. Mary, no further discussion. Read the roll.
Okay, Brumbaum,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Ferris, Garcia.
Yes. Thank you for that adjustment, Commissioner Howard. All right, so we now I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Have a motion approved by Howard. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. No question or concerns. Mary, read the roll.
Ferris,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brumbaum,
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes, thank you. Public comment. Has anybody signed in? All right. All right, Gail, would you please take the microphone? State your name and the nature of your business, please.
I am Dale Shields. I'm a member of the board of directors of the Sherman County Community Foundation, and we have an important meeting coming up next week on Wednesday, the 7th of April. It's our first strategic doing session of the year. Strategic Doing is a program that we got involved with about 3 years ago at the request of the Dane Hansen Foundation, and the Dane Hansen funds us annually with money for pass-through grants to local entities and services. We've been fortunate enough to work with the City of Goodland on a number of these in the past, and we anticipate being able to do some of those things in the future. Things like the Santa's Schoolhouse, the Topside Trail, the sand volleyball, things like that have all really come from strategic doing and things that, we're looking for and wanting to do. The Hansen Foundation basically said, you will basically get involved with strategic doing. And we said, geez, I suppose. Anyway, whatever. But, when they're going to give you X amount of dollars every year, you say, sure, we can do that. Anyway, it was an eye-opener. Basically, strategic doing is getting things done. It's not just planning for it. JD has been involved with this to a certain extent, and I think Aaron has been at a couple of meetings, and maybe JJ. But, we'd like to invite each and every one of you to attend, or at least designate a representative from the City Commission. What we're doing are working on projects and needs for our community. Our people will be asked to tell us on Wednesday what our community needs and what they're willing to do. It's been proven that collaboration is about 5 times more effective than just cooperation, if you will. So if you get people together with a united goal in mind, they work together very, very effectively. And that's what we've seen. Things like Topside Aquatics. And that originally started out as a wellness center. And this turned into an option that was a little more feasible in that regard. A dog park. That was another project we were sitting on and so forth, and has come to pass as well and is adjacent to the Topside Trail in that area out around Pioneer Park and all. So we've got the session coming up at 5:30 at the Elks Club on Wednesday. We would like to cordially invite each and every one of you to participate, to join in, tell us what you see the city's needs are, and how we might conceivably get to that location eventually. When I, heard some of the things that people were talking about doing 3 years ago, I said, really? Okay. But, a lot of those things have come to pass. And so it's really a program that really seems to work, and you get right people involved, and they can do amazing things. And it really helps to mobilize the community when people out there see the City Commission or the County Commission. I visited with them last week and invited them to attend as well. So again, I would, again, just once again, invite all of you to come by for a while. Maybe you can't make the whole meeting, but maybe you will. And we'll try to get you information about what wants that the people have and what we feel like we can conceivably do. So anyway, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to try and answer those for you this evening. But what we'd really like to have you do is stop by on Wednesday of this week and join us for strategic doing.
How long the meetings run? Dale, about a couple hours?
We hope to have it no longer than 2 hours, John.
Okay.
And would like to, maybe kind of zip through it and maybe do it in an hour and a half if at all possible.
Right.
We don't want to keep anybody any longer than we have to. So attention span seems to wane after a bit.
Well, I appreciate you coming and making that presentation. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Many ventures that the Sherman County Community Foundation and Dane Hanson has joint partnership and brought a lot of projects to fruition. So we're grateful for your dedication and the other board members as well.
Very, very welcome.
Thank
It's
you.
our pleasure. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
And that was this Wednesday, right? Next Wednesday, okay.
This
This Wednesday.
2
All
days.
right. All right. Okay, good. All right, so our next item on the agenda is item 3, presentations and proclamation. Item A is Lyman Appreciation Week. After I read this proclamation, I know we've got a couple of the linemen on there. I'd like to ask you to stand and mention your name, and we'll give you a round of applause. So, Proclamation, City of Goodland, Lineman Appreciation Day, April 18th, 2021. Whereas the City of Goodland celebrates the profession of an electrical lineman and wishes to honor its electric department personnel for their exemplary service to the city and its citizens, and whereas this profession demands passion, dedication, and ongoing training, and requires our linemen to work the lines 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to keep electricity flowing, and whereas linemen must often work under dangerous conditions far from their families to construct and maintain the energy infrastructure of the City of Goodland, and whereas linemen are often first responders during storms working to repair broken and damaged electrical lines under hazardous conditions in order to make the area safe for others, public safety heroes, and whereas linemen play a vital role in the lives of our citizens by maintaining and growing our electrical infrastructure, and they put their lives on the line every day by working with the many dangers of high voltage. Now therefore, I, John Garcia, Mayor of the City of Goodland, hereby proclaim April 18, 2021 as Lineman Appreciation Day in Goodland, and I urge all citizens to remember the selfless work the city linemen do each day to keep our lines on. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Goodland, Kansas to be affixed this 5th day of April 2021. Would you guys stand, please, there, Dustin? And I'd like to give you guys a round of applause. Thanks for everything you do as you sign this proclamation here. And before I read the next proclamation, I'll ask the same of you guys, 911 workers, after I read this, would you please just stand up, introduce yourself, and give you a round of applause. Okay, Proclamation National 911 Telecommunicator Appreciation Week, April 11th through 17, 2021. Where emergencies can occur at any time that require law enforcement, fire, or emergency medical services, and whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of law enforcement, firefighters, paramedics, and EMTs is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our law enforcement officers, paramedics, and EMTs and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who contact the Sherman County 911 Communications Center, and whereas 911 telecommunications are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services, and whereas 911 telecommunicators of the Sherman County 911 Communications Center have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppressions of fires, and treatments of patients. Therefore, be it resolved that the City of Goodland declares the week of April 11th through 17th, 2021 to be a National 911 telecommunicator appreciation week in the city of Woodland in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our city and citizens safe. Signed this 5th day of 2021, Mayor, City of Woodland, Kansas. Would you please stand and introduce yourself? We start there. Darcy. Okay. Well, we'd like to give you a round of applause. We know that you're. Thanks so much for being here. Sure. Twenty 2021-07A, 2021-07B, 2021-P07, and 2021-P07A. I will entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented. Motion?
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Brombaugh.
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Ferris. Any questions or concerns? Mary, read the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Brumbault.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, we move on to item 5, ordinances. First, under item A, resolution 1571, which is the hazard mitigation plan. And I believe, Mary, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a participation. It's participation, so we don't have to be involved in the
Participating jurisdiction under the Sherman County plan.
right,
You don't have to make your own plan.
in order to be able to qualify for FEMA funds.
And your first resolution on this was in 2016, and you have to renew it every 5 years.
Okay, good. Any questions? Concerns? I'll entertain a motion to accept resolution 1571.
So moved.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Howard, who seconded it? Second by Commissioner Ferris. Any questions or concern? Mary, read the roll.
Ferris.
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Brumbault.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes. Okay, we move on to item B, resolution 1572, 2021 GAAP waiver, which is generally accepted accounting principles. This is something that we do waiver every year in order to continue to operate under the program that we generally do. So, any questions or concerns? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept resolution 1572.
So moved.
Still waiting for the motion.
So moved.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, by Commissioner Brombaugh. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Howard. Any questions or concerns? Mary, read the roll.
Thompson.
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
Ferris.
Yes.
Brumbault.
Yes.
Okay, we move on to item C, resolution 1573, 2021, designating depositories. Mary?
You're required annually by the state of Kansas to designate where your depositories are. And as you can see, the main bank is Bank West, but all your investments are in your Western State, Western State, First National, and Bank West.
Any questions for Mary? Now I'll entertain a motion to accept resolution 1573. I have a motion by Commissioner Ferris. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Thompson. Any questions or concerns? Mary Throw.
Howard,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brumbaugh,
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes. Thank you. Move on to item number 6, which is renewal of property casualty and liability insurance. Jackie, would you like to say anything before we address this issue to the commissioners?
Nothing really changed this year. Jeanette really does all of the insurance for you guys, not me. I did go to the meeting with her and Mary. We had went and met with Alan in December. He told us he wasn't entertaining bids this year. And so Jeanette did reach out to Seville, who was your broker a couple of years ago, and we had driver problems. We moved it all to Seville. We came back to EMC last year. Nothing really changed. She did increase some liability. There's an option on the cyber liability that you guys had last year, and they just renewed it. There was the issue with the driver. We have to give the drivers to EMC once a year. We did that on renewal. We were informed of the violation that happened. We did let EMC know, so they did ask for that non-driving, for the driver to be put on the non-driving record, which is different than 3 years ago, or 3 years ago? 3 years ago. 3 years ago, when you guys had drivers with DUIs, EMC canceled you. And I'm not sure any of you really understand that EMC has a unique program. It's a unique municipality program that provides dividends. They provide risk management. They provide a bunch of services I'm not even sure you guys take advantage of that are free. Attorney Direct, you get 6 hours a year for an attorney. So a bunch of stuff that you guys should be very, very grateful you have EMC. There are not a ton of companies in the market that will write you cities. Let's go with cities. The biggest holdback on your city is the power plant. Nobody wants to ride it, but EMC has, and they will continue to ride it. I don't know what next year will bring, but as of right now, they are. So the premium didn't even go up 4%. It's very low. So whatever questions you have for us, I guess.
Jeanette, anything you would like to add? Okay. And so the amount of the insurance is $275,967. Mary, would you like to collaborate any further on this thing?
No, I would encourage you to approve it.
Okay.
I did fail to mention, because we have been asked the last 3 years to bid this out, and we are happy to do that for you, but a bidding process is huge. And every time you guys ask to have the city's insurance bid, there is a chance we lose a coverage. You can never bid apples to apples. I can't bid apples to apples with your car insurance, for instance, even. Every company has something different to offer. So when we were to meet with Mary and Alan over the renewal meeting, it was just Mary, and we did come to her and say, we would really like to have an agreement, a 3-year commitment from you guys. We know you do it with your health insurance. And it would just be, if your premium went up a lot next year, we know we're going to look for a new market. Are we going to be able to get one? We don't know that, but we would do our best. There are things we can do with EMC to cut the cost. We've even given up commission before. We would do what was best for the city. So we did just want to ask for a 3-year commitment so that we knew every year we weren't trying to bid this out and find a new market, because it is very time consuming. And you do have that risk of losing something. So that was one other thing we did talk about.
In former discussions that this commission has had, I think, that's a great idea. But I think it would probably, if you could just give us just a small formal contract so the commission can read through it and so forth. And then we could vote on that piece of legislation at a different time, that way you guys can read it and so forth, and,
Okay.
have it on record.
We'd be happy to do
All right. So, with that being said, is there anything else, Mary, that you would like to say? Okay.
I want to reiterate that, because I did put that in your communication form,
Okay.
that they would like the 3-year
Okay. Good.
agreement.
Yeah, I read.
And it does help, because
Yeah.
you do run a risk of losing properties, vehicles not being in the right policy. I mean, there are a lot of risks there.
Right, yeah. Yeah, if you'll just get that to us as soon as you can.
Sure.
That'd be all right. Okay, so I will entertain a motion to renew the property casualty and liability insurance with Heflin Insurance and ENC Insurance. I have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Ferris. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Commissioner Howard. Any questions or concerns?
I just want to speak up for a second. I was just curious as to when did we receive the information as to what the renewal was going to be?
So, because we weren't in really a bidding year, we didn't ask EMC for a bid process. We have to go about that and tell them that you guys are seeking other companies to do that. They usually the bids go out first and then the renewals. So Jeanette got it like the end of March. And she literally goes through every single line, every single coverage, making sure that EMC didn't change something. Like this year they duplicated a location. She had to go back and ask to have it taken off. So this is normal. We usually meet, I even went back because it became a question for some reason. So I went back clear to 18. We have met with Mary and the manager the middle of March. Yeah, middle of March. Ever since 2018. And maybe before, I just didn't go back that far. If there's a bid process, we have to ask for a specific date and tell the company, whatever company, we're in a bid process. It's April 5th. We have to have it by. So the timing of our renewal is not any different than it has been.
Okay, I was just curious. Because it shows that our renewal actually happened on the 1st, correct? And the first check has actually already been cut for this policy that we're tonight voting on whether or not we want to accept.
Yep. Honestly, we have never really come to a commissioners meeting unless it was a bidding year. Bidding years, we have always come, and we're happy to come. I mean, I watch these meetings every month anyway, or every time you guys have one, but we just never have. It's just kind of always been renewed. Like you guys renew the airport liability, and I don't think you guys vote on it. But I mean, maybe it's an amount. So honestly, we don't ever come unless it's a bid situation.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure if we actually have to vote on this. Is this like is it a budget line item when we're doing the budget? And as long as it falls within a range, it's pretty much you guys can roll with it. Basically, yeah. But so it's more of a formality kind of a thing.
Exactly.
Basically, is what we're doing.
But it is what it is, and like she said, they always do come this time of year. It's always the week of March 15th. So depending upon where your meetings fall, that's where it is.
Okay.
Well, and I can vouch just what you said about Jeanette. I know she's really good about screening everything, but it's still, I mean, it's just as a formality for the commission, to make sure, taxpayers can ask us, but they're doing a great job.
Thank you.
All right. So I have a motion on the floor, second. Mary, read the roll.
I don't think you have a motion.
Yeah, did you make one? No, Ferris made one. and
Oh, yep,
Aaron
you're right.
seconded it.
You're right.
I didn't say.
Yeah, because JJ seconded it.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
So Thompson,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Brumbaugh,
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. We move on to item number 7, city manager's report. He is absent. He is not here, so I'm going to move to city commissioner's report. I'm going to start off here with JD.
Just a quick question, well, a comment to the poly patch stuff is great for the roads. It really helps out a lot, smooth them out. But the poly patch rental machine, I was just curious, how much that is to rent, and is that something, as far as how often you use it and how much you go through, is it something worth looking into having our own? For a new one? Yeah. Just 2 weeks a year? that stuff's expensive to use, so you probably wouldn't. So even if we up the budget quite a bit, still probably the better way to just keep renting it, sounds like. Yeah, okay, just making sure.
All right, couple things. One, I should have said this when we were talking about insurance, but I just wanted to say I appreciate Mary. I had asked her a while back about whether or not we had any of our information regarding our insurance digital in our system so that we have access to look at things, and we didn't. But I appreciate her following through with you guys, asking for that, and then appreciate you guys having that information for us this go around. I really do appreciate that. And then also the second thing, I guess something maybe we want to put on the discussion for next meeting, citywide cleanup, if that's something that we are going to be looking into this year, since it didn't happen at all last year, or what feelings are with that. But I've been approached by a couple people asking about that this spring. People are getting spring fever and itching to kind of get things cleaned up. So we want to go over that and decide how we feel about that this year.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Commissioner Howard?
Oh, don't really have too much. I see that they got frisbee golf over at by the swimming pool now. Those went in.
That'll be great.
And then I noticed all the pictures of the sewer cameras. Those look really good. And who all got to see those pictures? Okay. That looks like a good program to have, especially for future money savings for the city.
Yep.
Otherwise, I'd like to thank all the employees for all their work they've done, and Jackie and Jeanette for going through those hundreds of pages and making sure everything was in there the right way. And that's all I've got.
Well, so far Kansas Street's looking a lot better. I'll know more about it when you get past my house. But it looks a major improvement. And it looks like everybody's doing a good job and things are looking good.
Under Mayor's report, I'd just like the commissioners have been handed all the reports. We had staff report from Mary Volk in her office, Neil Thornburg on the water, Kenton Keith on street and alley, Sammy Wendell on museum, Danny Creation on parks, Brian James on fire, and IT on Josh Leanne Taylor on court, and police Frankie Hayes. With that having said, I'd like to congratulate Officer Schlucher, Fiesel, and Lucifer for graduating from the academy. They're turning out to be good. Also like to congratulate the police department on the work that they did on the drug issue. I won't mention any names, but that was a fantastic move. And so with that being said, that concludes the commissioner's report. But you know, if you take a little time and read through the itemization of what all of these guys do, my goodness, I just, you know, so I really want to extend my appreciation to all the department heads and their employees for diligently working and keeping up the good work, not only in every department, but, you know, the city as well as a whole. So I appreciate what you guys do. With that being said, no other business. I'd like to recess. Yes. Yes.
Under the city manager's report, I want to make sure that it's mentioned that we did get our van transportation grant renewed,
Okay.
and they're still operating under the COVID money, and that will probably be till mid-year, and then they'll go the 80/20.
Mhm.
And so we did get that, and then on the Eagle Med hangar lease, that is, their lease has come up for renewal, and we're working with them to get that renewed,
Okay.
is what that is.
Good.
So
So
just
when will
know
you
what
bring?
those two items are. What?
Has he said when they'll bring it back to the commission on the lease?
For the lease,
The Eagle.
as soon as they sign it and,
Okay.
and approve what is, it's the same lease, just extending it another 5 years.
Okay.
That's what it is.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Mayor. Okay. No other further business. I would like to recess under the authority of KSA 754319B1 for discussion of non-elected personnel for a period of 10 minutes. For 10 minutes, I'd like the commissioners present, and the time is, let me get my iPhone, 6:35, is it 5:31? Okay, Mary, 10 minutes. I have a motion on the floor. To have a second? Second. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Well, call this meeting back to order at 5:41, and under the authority of KSA 754319B1, for discussion of non-elected personnel, I move that we recess into executive session for a period of 10 minutes. I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. All those in favor say aye. I approve. Okay, so the time is 5:43, Mayor. 10 minutes. next week. Okay. All right, ready? Call this meeting back to order. If there's not any additional business to be conducted, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
By Commissioner Brombaugh is moved. Second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Howell. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you guys for attending.
Thank you.